Hi, everyone. Are we live?
Yes.
We're live. Yay. Wow. I don't know about you guys, but this has been some intense energy. And I just really am happy to be here with all of you because today we are going to ignite our altar for abundance in all things. And do some chanting, look at the astrology,
Sure.
um, talk to you about our special offers and upcoming little contest I know that Candace has been working on, who is moderating this today. And then we're going to open it up to question and answer. So first of all, I just wanted to let you know that this is an international community focused on supporting one another as we go through these turbulent times. And right now, really focused on peace on the planet, because I think this has been a very challenging period. There has been a lot of earth changes, a lot of volcanic eruptions. There's a war in the Middle East. There's lots of shootings here in the United States, a lot of violence. And I know everybody is feeling a little on edge. At least I'm feeling that. And I think it's bringing a lot of unresolved pain, trauma, kind of all the things that we feel like our spiritual practice should handle, but there is some deeper levels of family lineage stuff and just the lineage of humanity, which has been so polarized. And so these are the things that are coming up to being healed. And as a community, we're exploring our vulnerability and our desire to awaken to our uniqueness and finding ways to be able to contribute not only to our personal healing, but the healing on the planet.
Okay, so yeah, as Robin was saying, it's a very interesting time. We're just coming up to a lunar eclipse that's on the 26th of May. And it's called Super Blood Moon, Super Flower Blood Moon. Very interesting name. And the eclipse is in Scorpio. And this eclipse really intensifies a lot of emotional things, a lot of vulnerabilities, fear, worry, feeling rejected, unsettled, agitated feelings, things in relationships that aren't resolved. So all of that is coming up to be exposed. And Carl Jung said it best: if you can make the unconscious conscious, then that unconscious won't run your life anymore. You won't be subject to all those patterns that we get into that are feeling very stuck and repetitive. So it's a really good time to meditate and be aware of what's coming up to be healed, and don't avoid it. Go into meditation, do the chanting. This is the most powerful time to meditate and chant. Your meditations take you twice as far, and the chanting takes you twice as far as normal during an eclipse. We got two of them. It's eclipse season. We got this lunar eclipse on the 26th, and then June 10th, we have a solar eclipse. So very intense time. And so even in between these eclipses, the things that we're going to be talking about right now really apply. It's not just on that day. So, it's a good, as I said, good time to meditate, ground yourself, walk in nature. If you can walk barefoot in the morning dew, a grass, a very, very powerful way to ground yourself. Avoid social engagements if you can. I mean, it's not always possible. Just know that, you know, people are agitated. So if you can avoid arguments with people, that's great. You know, be careful about what you say. Avoid surgeries and major decisions if you can. So all of those things that really apply during this eclipse season. Now, also on May 23rd, Saturn goes into retrograde. So what does that mean? It means that it's a time where we need to look at what we're committed to, and you know, just be aware of what are, you know, what in our relationships and our in our work, just be aware of what we want to commit to, because that's what Saturn does. And retrograde means review. So it, you know, things come up for review, old relationships, old patterns and things. It's really fitting in perfectly with, you know, this Scorpio kind of unconscious, needs to be revealed part of our life. And other things, Saturn retrograde, it's not the same for everybody, but for a lot of people, projects that you're working on may slow down. It's important to be patient. You know, it's temporary. Actually, this Saturn retrograde does last for a few months, but the really intense part is right when it starts and right when it ends. So I think it ends in October 22nd, somewhere around there. So May 23rd and October 22nd, I think, just you'll be really aware of it. The other big thing that's happening at the end of the month is Mercury retrograde. It's happening again. It goes through the 22nd, and all of the things we've talked about in the past about Mercury retrograde apply. You know, avoid arguments again, and avoid signing contracts unless it's, you know, very legal. You know, you know, handshakes aren't good during this time. There's a lot of possibility for miscommunication. Back up your computer. All of those things that we always talk about with Mercury retrograde apply. Now, remember, everything we're talking about is the general planetary influences that are going to be affecting everyone. But we really encourage you to get an astrology reading, maybe a yearly reading, which we're having a special on. Robin will tell you about that, so that you can see how the planetary influences are really affecting your chart, your life, and how you can utilize those energies to really manifest what you want to give more success in your life. So yeah, if you really, if you understand your chart, it's like that doorway or the pathway to your enlightenment, to your success, to your good health. So always encourage you to see what's happening in your chart, and so see those planetary influences, how long they're going to last. So, because everything changes. And so if you're feeling, you know, really rough right now, no, it's temporary. You can see in the reading how long it's going to last, and that gives peace of mind that this isn't the rest of my life. So yeah, we really encourage that a lot. So
Yeah.
that's the main influences for the rest of the month here. Robin?
I also wanted to say about your astrology, what I like about what you do that I haven't experienced before is the remedy, or the remedies that you offer. And I think for myself, they're very
Practical.
they're practical, but they also are very kind to us and connect us more deeply with not only nature, but other people. Yeah. And they're very magnanimous kind of remedies. They're not arduous remedies. And so I think that
that's the difference.
That sets you apart even from other Vedic astrologers that I know, because I don't really think that everybody offers that. And I like that piece, because a lot of times when I get readings, I end up feeling rather, A little bit, oh God, now I've got to go through this. And I don't really feel very empowered by the knowledge.
Astrology should empower you. It shouldn't make you feel like, oh my God, this is my destiny. No, it definitely should empower you. And with the really simple, easy, practical remedies that we suggest based on your chart, on which planets need to be strengthened and which planets need to be transformed, it can really change your life. So.
So I wanted to go through the altar, but I just wanted to go over our theme for the rest of May, which is awakening. It's creating balance, purpose, and clearing. And it kind of merges into, oops, sorry, merges into June, and the theme of June will be healing. And so it's really a time, we're like in a moment here that is not a beginning and an end monthly, but there is this expansive time where, as a race, we're really looking at the polarity that we've created on the planet. This has been with us since the beginning of humanity, and this kind of push pull between the light and the dark, and good and bad, and us and them, and right and wrong, and people or societies who feel that they have the right to impose their belief systems or structures onto others, and the impact of that. And I think we're seeing it comes in waves, and I think it's really a heightened energy right now. So I want to talk, go ahead.
Yeah, I think everything is coming up, to give us this choice. Either we can go into fear or choose love, and help and support, have compassion for other people during this time. It's a way of opening our heart. All of these things that are coming our way. So it's healing our heart, healing the planet, choosing love over fear. It's what's coming up a lot.
Something that I read today, which I am reminded of constantly, and I think it is the one thing that brings me back to my center when I'm feeling really out of alignment. And sometimes, like these energies, I know for me personally, the energies right now are hitting my chart in a way that is like, whoo, it's a lot. It's like on every level of my chart, it is affecting me. And the one, it's like a magic potion, is gratitude. When you can be grateful for what is in your life that you can see that is positive, even if the negativity is all around you, if you can just look outside and see the beauty that surrounds you, and how lucky you are that there's greenery or flowers or sunlight, right? And that gratitude is it is like the alchemical piece to allow the grace to come into your life, to open the doorways for grace. And this is a challenging time, no doubt. I think we're all feeling it. And when I was building this altar, I had a choice of who I was going to put on the altar and why. And I really feel like I need the support of Ganesh, because I feel Ganesh really does support our and protect us. And this is a beautiful painting. I love the artwork of our friend Scott Haig, master artist and advanced course teacher for Art of Living, and a dear friend of ours. And I also placed the Medicine Buddha on the altar because I feel like this is definitely a time of healing ourselves, and thereby opening to our ability to support and heal others. and I added a couple extra Ganeshas and Shiva. Shiva is the destroyer of illusion, and this dancing Shiva, it's not as detailed as most Shivas, I don't think, but he's standing on a person's head, I think, or a person.
The demon's head.
A demon, and it's to destroy the ignorance
in the mind.
That is in the mind. And another thing that I read recently about meditation, how essential it is, because what it does is that it gets you to the point where you're able to observe what is happening in the mind without attaching to it. And that's enlightenment. That's the mastery. When you can see all of this as Maya. And whenever something plugs you in, as my first yoga teacher said way back when I was like 18, she said, when something out there plugs me in, I know that is my work. So it is to see, is to discern the difference between reacting and applying the spiritual knowledge you have to be able to slay the dragon or the demons of ignorance. That's a great analogy.
Very good.
So now I want to go through the altar, and we always start with the air element. The air element is in the northwest, and this is, before we do that, this is our full moon altar, which is a little different than our altars that we usually use during Mantra Mondays, even though this is Monday. The reason we did this full moon altar for abundance in all things today is that the moon becomes full very, very early in the morning on Wednesday, like at 4:14 a.m. Pacific time. We're on the west coast of California, in Southern California, and that's a little early. And we always ignite an altar as the moon is building to fullness. And during an eclipse, especially, and we're seeing, different belief systems, even within the Vedic tradition, about, do you meet on the full moon when there's eclipse? Do you have an altar on the full moon when there's eclipse? Do you not? I mean, everybody has a different opinion, even Vedic priests. So what I say, and because I don't ever ignite an altar on the full moon, it's always as the energy is building to fullness. And I just want you to know that your intentions need that energy behind that is like ripening. And then as the energy builds, and then you have the full moon, and the energy on the other side of the fullness, it pulls the energy away. So between the full moon and the new moon, the energy is draining, and that is not the time to be putting together an altar for abundance in all things. So I just really wanted to make that clear. And again, we begin with, I didn't finish this about the full moon. So we build the altar as it's building towards fullness, and as the energy is on the other side of the full moon, we dissemble a full moon altar, which is different than an altar that we do on Mantra Mondays. Usually we have a theme. This month has been, what is this month?
Awakening.
Awakening. So we had an altar specifically towards awakening to our abundant nature and the divine feminine. And now we're doing this altar around healing, because that's actually going to be the theme for quite a while, I think. And so when we meet next, we will be doing an altar probably in the east for our healing, or in the Northeast for our spiritual healing. It just depends on what we end up doing. And what I get as I go into meditation before next Monday's mantra meditation,
Not just next Monday,
the Monday after.
Yeah,
next Monday,
Labor Day.
we're not meeting. It's Labor Day weekend here in the US, and Michael and I are going to be in a silent meditation retreat starting Thursday afternoon until Monday evening. And we really need it. It's been a while. So beginning in the Northwest, it's the air element. The air element is the beginning of the cycle of creation. That subtle energy that comes from the divine feeds us and our desires. And it is like the beginning of a birthing process. And I always say, I see an altar as a three-dimensional formula for manifestation. And this kind of altar is very specific in that the elements are placed in the perfect order to represent the universe in perfect order. And so the elements are on the outside, the space is in the center where we put our intention, and then we place our personal symbols in back of this to feed the altar. And once ignited, just imagine I consider it kind of like a three-dimensional Sri Yantra. And it just is speaking or tuned in to the channel that pulls the energy from the unseen into the physical form. And this might sound woo, but this was my graduate work, and people's lives actually changed when they were consistently utilizing altars for manifestation. But the most essential key to any altar is, once it's ignited, is that you allow the divine to support you. You don't go tugging at it like you would if you had a garden and sprouts coming up. You wouldn't try to give it some help to grow quicker. You just let nature take its course. And it's the same thing with an altar. So we have this element, and we're going to light the air element. I have two things on for air. I have the incense, which is kind of fire and air together. So it could be a fire element, but we're using it as an air element. And also I have these really nifty little wind chimes, standing wind chimes. I don't think they're made anymore by a company that we used to carry their wind chimes. They went out of business a long time ago, but I have this hummingbird, and I think the hummingbird is that connection between the seen and the unseen. And then we move into the water element. The water element is in the Northeast. It is the fluid that supports that which we want. We hold that in a very sacred place. So we're taking our thoughts and we're moving them into, like we're surrounding with our desires. Can I just ask if there's somebody out there that has their microphone unmuted? Could you please mute? I'm hearing a little bit of somebody's microphone. Yeah, background. Thank you. So we have this element. You could either be live flowers in a translucent colored vase or container, or silk flowers. And there's, even with the silk flowers, you always add water so that you can see the water. The water has to be seen. That's kind of what it's important here. And it also could just be a clear glass bowl of water. And then in the Southeast, we have the fire element. And today we're going to use one of these little battery operated votive candles. And the fire is the spark of creation that's needed to, the heat, the passion that's needed to bring something into physical form. It is that which allows the dream to become alive. And then the earth element, we have uncooked rice. You could also use these little statues in this quadrant as well. And that is bringing that energy into physical form. And then in the middle is the space. Everything comes from and returns to this element. So imagine it as a spiral that spirals around and returns to this center area. All your hopes and desires are placed in here. I also added like a little rose quartz heart because I'm kind of feeling the need for a little more love. And I also added the health and spirituality yantra, which is the is this, no, we don't have this on special right now, okay. But it is the yantra that is used for, represents the Mrityunjaya mantra, which is the Om Triambakam Yajamahe mantra that we sometimes chant, which is good for healing. And I also have these sandalwood mala beads. We carry these. They're pretty, I think they're about the least expensive mala beads on the market. And a mala bead necklace is used for a practice called japa. And japa is when you chant a mantra 108 times. And you use this kind of a necklace so that your mind doesn't have to keep counting. And when you start at the bead here inside, and you go all the way around. And when you reach this center bead, that's 108. You don't use the chant, it's actually 109 beads, but we use that to indicate that you've done one round of chanting using the beads, the japa, that's the process. I also have an Om symbol. We carry these online also. I put them on, you can put it at your front door. We have one on our front door. You can use it on your altar. And keystone. Keystone can be used to ignite an altar or it's just added to the altar. It's also used when Michael does people's Vastu.
And you can carry it in your pocket for protection as well.
And this is what I've written for our community altar. This is my intention, and I hope yours. If you don't have an altar set up already, this is what I wrote. I choose love and healing over fear and separation. And then 3 words, I put love, healing, and peace. Those are the feelings I want to evoke. Those feelings I want inside of me. Those feelings I want to come to the forefront during the next month. And I think it's just this whole thing of as above, so below. Everything that we see out there is what's also happening within us. And so this is what I'm going to use to ignite the altar. And we're going to do some mantras before we light the altar. And then Mike is going to do the activation ceremony. And then I'm going to do a chant for peace afterwards. So first I'm going to do I didn't put this in the mantra book. Michael's a little hesitant for me to do this because it's part of a sacred ceremony called puja, but it's something I love and I really wanted to share it with you. It's used to enliven the support of the holy tradition, which is the lineage of masters that is part of our teaching and our practice through Art of Living. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And now I'd like to do the long, slow Om Namah Shivaya 3 times through. And if you don't know this one, you can listen one round and join in. The thing about chanting is that it isn't about whether you can sing well or not. It's what the sound does to the physiology. In Sanskrit, sound and form are the same. Om Namah Shivaya is just removing all the obstructions. It is allowing Shiva to enliven our consciousness so that we see beyond the illusion. So this is, I love this chant, and it slows down our breath. Usually we breathe about 17 times per minute, and this just really slows down the breathing and allows us to go deep, and it actually has a purifying effect on the environment. So here we go. Shiva
Do a short chant for Ganesh. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvigyam Kuru Medeva Karyashad Sarva Shusevada.
So now we're going to do the activation of the altar. So if you have an altar, or if you haven't, but have written down something, some distillation of what it is you desire this coming month, you can hold it to your heart. Michael likes it right hand and then left hand on top. We'll do that. If that feels comfortable to you. And we're going to do a little different chant this time. We're going to use the Shiva chant, Om Namah Shivaya, to ignite the altar.
So close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and let all the cares of the day go. Now, if you have an altar with your intention written down, you can bring it and hold it to your heart. If you don't, just imagine whatever that intention happens to be. And start taking long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. As you breathe in, feel every particle of your being, what it would feel like in your body to already have or own whatever you wrote on the piece of paper. Feel that sense of joy, fulfillment, and gratitude in every cell of your being. You can bring a big, big smile to your face. Now you can place the piece of paper in the very center in the space element of your altar, the offering tray. And we'll complete the ignition by using Gomoki Mudra, holding your two middle fingers in with your thumb, and the pinky and the pointing finger are sticking out. And so you'll be pointing 9 times as we chant Om Namah Shivaya at the center of the altar. So Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. And close your eyes again. Take another deep breath in. Hold it. And as you breathe out, just surrender all those intentions to the divine. It's in divine time to manifest those desires. With a big, big smile, slowly, gradually, in your own time, you can open your eyes.
I'm going to, our final chant is a peace mantra for stability, peace, and love. We are doing this chant to not only uplift and enlighten ourselves, but to stimulate the forces of peace on the planet. And this mantra in English is, the words are synonymous to be, may there be peace, may all beings everywhere be happy and free. And may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and freedom for all. Here it goes. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. 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 Om Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti. Shake it down. Oh, I don't know about you, but I really needed that. I feel so much better. So before we get into questions and answers, I wanted to share with you our special offers, and we've extended them through June 4th, which I believe is a Friday. So I'm just hoping that people realize that these are really good offers at 20% off. The first is the yearly astrological reading with Michael, which is very, very informative. And we've talked about this. And I think that there may be some people here on our call today who have had these experiences with Michael or had either this kind of reading with Michael, or even taken the class, the level 1 transformational Vedic astrology class, which is the other offering at 20% off through June 4th. And if you actually have had it, it might be really, and have had some experience with it, it might be great for you to just talk about it, share with other people shortly when we open up for Q&A, if you've actually felt like it helped you in some way, some kind of benefit from that. Of course, we're open to all kinds of questions, but I just wanted to let you know the special offers. So now, Candice, if you want to open up for Q&A. And because we're on Zoom, and I love this about Zoom, I get to see people, which I don't usually get to see your beautiful shining faces after we've done all of our deeper inner work. So we'd love to answer your questions, and I think we've got plenty of time to do that. So
Awesome. So I actually got kicked off, so I had to come back in. So I'm not co-host anymore, but I think I can see everybody. I can still like see their questions. So I think you just have to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you. So I know we had a question in the beginning that someone wanted you to repeat the days of the eclipse.
The eclipse is going to be this Wednesday, starting. Well, the full moon is at 4:14 a.m. Pacific time, and the eclipse is at 4:19 a.m. Pacific time. So wherever you are in the world, if you just take that and minus it or add the amount of hours, like Hawaii is 3 hours behind us, and New York is 3 hours ahead of us, and I'm sure from here to Europe, it's 8 hours. I know Thailand is 14 hours ahead. So, and I think India is 14 hours ahead, 14 and a half hours ahead. So wherever you are, there you are.
And the solar eclipse is on June 10th. I don't know the exact time. You could look it up on the internet.
But we'll be talking more about that coming up in the next couple of Mantra Mondays, or the next Mantra Monday after the 31st.
Right.
Which is the week, I think that
the 7th, June 7th.
And that eclipse is going to be that week.
The 10th.
On the 10th.
Nice. And I had a question from Anisha, which I think she said she had to leave early. I don't see her anymore. But she wanted to know if chanting outside during the full moon, like under the moonlight, was more beneficial than chanting in a house, per se.
Anywhere you're chanting is powerful. Whether you do it vocally, through sound or in your mind, either they're both very powerful. And whether it's outside or inside, it is nice to have a place in your residence where you do chanting a lot, because it kind of builds up to be a power spot. But anywhere you are, chanting is always good for the environment and your physiology.
And also, because of the eclipse so close to the full moon, probably not a great time to be outside.
Yeah, definitely. In Vedic astrology, they say it's not good to look at the full moon. I mean, to the eclipse. Your eyes are part of that fire element, and it can damage the retina. So avoid looking directly at an eclipse. It's a good time to meditate. It's the best time to meditate. And for a lot of people, they'll be asleep, so that's fine too. And ideally, you don't eat or drink right around the eclipse as well. But hours before or hours after are fine.
Nice. Okay. I wanted to see if anyone had any questions that they wanted to say before I go back to the chat. Anyone want to raise their hand or ask any particular questions? I'm looking at you all. No? All right, so I have another one in the chat. If you change your mind, you can raise your hand as an action. But this one is from Emma, and it says, "Do altars have always have to be on a square rectangle table? Like for example, your table is round."
I think the most important thing is the elements are in their perfect order. And I know that
They form a rectangle.
they are the ones that form a rectangle. And for me, this was my grandmother's table, so I kind of am partial to it. And for us, it's a technical thing too. It's big enough to be able to show you every element on the altar without either being too big or too small. So
round is fine. Just keep the elements, southeast, fire, southwest, earth, northwest, air, and northeast, water. And they should form a rectangle.
And she said, "What about the location of the altar?" So I guess the area that you put in the house.
for a full moon altar, it can be anywhere in the house. I like to have it where the moon can either symbolically or in reality feed the altar, so that sometimes I have this set up downstairs in our living room on a coffee table. That room has a lot of windows. Some people have put it on, made an altar to sit on a ledge on a windowsill. The full moon altar is not a directional altar, just the elements need to be directionally placed. So it can be anywhere. It can be outside, it can be inside. So if you're moving into summer now, like today is going to be like our first great warmer day. It's going to be 75 degrees here today. We've had a very chilly May, so you could build the altar outside if you're on the West Coast. If you're not in Seattle, Seattle's raining today. But inside, outside, wherever you want it. Directional altars are all in my book, Altars of Power and Grace. And that is available online through us at vastucreations.com or through Amazon as a downloadable PDF. And it walks you through each of the 8 directional altars.
Nice. If I can just get Anne to mute her, I'm not able to mute people or herself. I'm not able to mute people right now. It's Anne Godfrey, not the other Anne. Let's see, there's a couple of Annes in here. Okay, and we do have another question, but I just wanted to read some comments because you guys don't get to see all the comments. Thank you, beautiful ceremony. I feel better. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, that's beautiful. Thank you, Michael and Robin, for sharing this beautiful ceremony. And this person says, "I always love Mondays with both of you. I feel very blessed, Robin and Michael." And then we have another question.
Hi, this is Sangeeta. I'm sorry, my video is not working, camera. I wanted to share that recently Michael did a Vastu consultation for us, and so many blocks have been just removed just with the, 1 week into the consultation and 1 week into him giving the blessing ceremony. I really want to thank Robin and Michael. I'm sorry, my camera doesn't work, but thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Bless your family.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you're still on, you're still not muted. And Godfrey. Okay. And let's see. I saw another question. Oh, here's another comment about the transformation Vedic astrology. So we are very grateful for your teaching consulting course and transformative Vedic astrology and Vastu consulting. Our home has enjoyed the peaceful and safe energy ever since. And that was from Kimberly Humphreys. And then we have SA who said, should we remove the altar, I'm assuming, before the full moon, or do we leave it up after and then remove?
I think after. I usually do keep the altar up until the once the moon starts waning. So anytime after, and sometimes these bigger super moons seem fuller longer, and so you can keep that energy of the altar up within that energy, and then take it down as you start seeing the moon waning. So there are some people that are like, don't build an altar on a full moon. Well, we don't. We build it before, and we keep it so that our dreams can continue to move into fullness. And then once that energy starts draining is when we take the full moon altar down. It's not the same as our directional altars. Those stay up.
As long as we want.
As long as they're working for you and as long as you want. Somebody said to
Someone said that they can't hear you, but actually you just got louder for me. So maybe it's the speaker. I'm not sure. I can hear you fine. Does the eclipse affect the altar?
That is, I don't think that it does in the negative way. I think because our intention is focused on peace and not disruption, and our hearts are good, are open and willing to be of service, that we're putting goodness out there, and we're doing it before the eclipse happens, and we're not taking it down until after the eclipse, that energy is sustaining.
Just think of eclipse as intensifying things. And so if you're doing something positive, it will intensify that. If you are, skydiving or doing something that's a little bit risky, definitely that's a good time to avoid those kinds of things. Being careful, more careful than usual driving, being very careful of your communications, etc. Because it intensifies, and there is a bit of agitation out there. But if your thoughts are positive and your chanting, is always going to be beneficial, your meditation, and all of these positive things will be intensified. Avoid scary movies, negative things, because those will be intensified. Yeah. So just,
read really positive knowledge material during this time. And definitely the best thing you can do during a full moon and especially eclipse is meditate.
Yeah.
Your meditation right now is going to save you. So imagine it being your lifeline to sanity.
It's a time for spiritual growth through letting go of attachments, letting go of the past.
All right, I guess we'll take a couple more. Can I put my crystal ball in the center of the space tray? Also, where does the moon yantra go?
Moon yantra
can go in the offering tray, and
a crystal bowl. Is that what she's asking? I'm not sure if I heard it right.
Yes, a crystal bowl.
You can use a crystal ball in the center. When I originally cognized this way back, like 35 years ago, I was using a salad bowl with aluminum foil to reflect the light of the moon. So I think that anything that feels reflective to you, and I don't even think it needs to be reflective because your intentions are very, very powerful. And so I would say, whatever feels right to you, that's what you should be using. So if you love it, use it.
Awesome. And any other last questions? This is your last shot. You can unmute yourself. You can ask a question. You can put it in the chat. You can leave a testimonial. Let's see. Can you advise what are the directions of the elements? Can you just repeat them one more time? The elements.
Fire element is in the southeast, always, no matter where you put your altar. If you put your iPhone in the center, with the compass app, the true north selected, not magnetic north, and just move it around. So, point it towards the northeast. Northeast would be the water, and northwest would be the air, and southwest would be the earth, and southeast would be the fire.
Personal symbol is in the
center.
And the space element is in the center. Personal symbol is in back.
Yeah.
I want to remind you, Candace, to mention our little contest and things that we're going to be doing in June before we sign off. So that's just something that came to my mind.
Okay, I'll definitely mention it. Is there any last things people want to say? Oh, I have a question from SA. You can unmute yourself, SA.
It's not a question. I just wanted to say thank you so much to Michael and Robin and you, Candice, for helping us with all this. Thank you so much. We are very grateful to have the opportunity to do these altars. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're planning on doing a giveaway in June, and we kind of want to get your opinion of what you would like to receive. So we're thinking about maybe doing a mantra and yantra as a giveaway, or maybe we're gonna do, you say clap, I saw Kathy clap for that. But also we're thinking about maybe like a little altar session with Robin, like a one-on-one as a giveaway. And that's a bigger clap from Kathy. So we just wanted to get your opinion on that. If you want to go to our Instagram, we'll be putting up a little poll where you can vote. Also, if you just we'll probably make a post for Facebook since it won't be a story. But if you want to go on Facebook, you can also vote. I'll make a post where you can leave a little comment below, and we can figure out what you guys want for that giveaway. And basically our giveaway is just going to be something super simple where you just encourage your friends to follow the newsletter, things of that nature. Nothing too serious, just something a little fun and get you guys involved on the social media pages. So just keep a lookout for that. We'll be in Instagram and also in our newsletters. We'll be talking about it for you guys. And Facebook.
Wonderful. I'm excited to do it. I'm just getting some more ideas downloaded as you were talking. So I think.
And someone said, what's the page? So Vastu Creations is for Instagram. So it's simple Vastu Creations. If you go to the website, you can go ahead and scroll down a little bit and you'll see where you can subscribe for the email list. And then also the Facebook is also Vastu Creations FB. If you put that after the little slash on the facebook.com/Vastu Creations FB.
And those are the Vastu Creations FB is where we have our Facebook Live on Mondays for the Mantra Mondays. But we also do it on Instagram. And we have other pages on Facebook, but that's the one where we do the live event. Michael has a fan page, and we have an American Institute of Vastu page. I have, we have a lot of pages, so you can just find us. But really, if you want to see us, it's the Vastu Creation FB page.
Thank you.
We really want to thank you guys for supporting us, and we do this because we feel there's a need in our community, and we want to grow this community. And so please pass this on to your friends, and whatever it is that you need from us, we're here to serve you. And that's our dharma, that's why we came together. Was to raise good kids and to do service in the world. So we hope that you will continue participating, and I thank you so much. And Candice, we couldn't do this without you.
Thank you, Candice.
And we'll see you all again in the first, is it the first week in June, right? On the 7th.
Yes.
Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Mantra Mondays, 11 a.m. Bye.